Hey, this is Anney, and welcome to Stuff I Never Told You, production of iHeartRadio. And yes, you heard correctly. Today I am co-hostless. Samantha is out of town unexpectedly, but we'll be back soon. I'm sad she's gonna miss this one, but alas, that is how the cookie crumbled in this case. But yes, we are back with another sub segment of fictional women around the world. And today we are talking about Morgan Elsbeth. So that means there's going to be spoilers for The Mandalorian Season 2, Ahsoka, the TV series, and Tales of the Empire, because we are still in my Star Wars month. I know I can make it about Star Wars anytime, but that is who I chose for this month. Morgan Elsbeth is a Force-sensitive woman and a Night Sister from the planet Dathomir. In the most basic of terms, Night Sisters are like space witches, which I know doesn't really help because some people call Jedi wizards. And wizard is also like a term of, oh, that's cool, that's wizard. In the Star Wars universe, so it can get confusing. So condensing a lot, she was born on the planet Dathomir to native witches to that planet who were later all but wiped out by the Separatists in the Clone Wars because of some actions they'd taken against Count Dooku, who was played by Christopher Lee and was also kind of a hidden, not really a Sith Lord, but that's how we're just going to say it right now. Because the complicated thing is a lot of Force users, we always say like Jedi or Sith, but there's a lot of in between that. But anyway, he was working on what we'll call the dark side. Elsbeth survived, believing herself to be the last of her kind. She was not, but she did not know that. Another attack left many of the clan who had taken her in dead, and the leader warned of Elsbeth's dark intentions before leaving Elsbeth alone in the forest. And I guess some of it was sort of her fault. I haven't seen Tales of the Empire yet. I got a lot of Star Wars media to catch up on, I'll tell you that. But it was implied from what I was reading that she had sort of paved her own way to this outcome. She was a major ally of Grand Admiral Thrawn, who, if you don't know, emerged after the death of the Emperor in the original trilogy to make sure that the Empire continued. He's the blue guy? There's more than one blue guy, but probably the one you think of. That's Thrawn. He's been in a lot of the animated shows and was in the live-action Ahsoka. Elsbeth was also involved in the building up of the Imperial Navy that helped the Empire retain control for many years. This involved plundering and stealing natural resources of planets. It's also kind of complicated, but the Clone Wars were sort of they were orchestrated by the Empire, so both sides the Emperor was playing, I guess. He was manipulating. So the Separatists that she's so angry with, she ultimately sort of joined. You know how it goes. Once the Empire fell, she sought out Thrawn, hoping that he not only would restore the Empire, but her own Dathomiri culture. She wanted to restore that. During New Republic times, which is what rose up after the Empire, the democratic government, she ruthlessly acted as a magistrate on the planet Corvus. She designed a new TIE fighter, which is the Imperial type of X-Wing, if any of this lingo makes sense to people who aren't so in-depth into the Star Wars world like me. She designed a new one based on their resources that they had on Corvus, promising the people that they would benefit. But her design was rejected for being too expensive. The people of Corvus revolted, and she deployed her assassin droid to take care of the whole thing. Thrawn later showed interest in her design, though, her TIE fighter. When he asked her what it was that she wanted, she claimed it was the power the Empire could give her to avenge Dathomir and the Night Sisters. On top of that, she'd also been getting messages or visions from the Great Mothers of Dathomir. She lied to the people of Corvus about the collapse of the Empire so that they would continue to work. An attempt at diplomacy resulted in Elsbeth blowing up the diplomat's ship and lighting the nearby forest on fire. She described herself as a survivor, and she was really hell-bent on revenge. This is where the Mandalorian, aka Din Djarin, came in. He was looking for a Jedi to return Grogu/Baby Yoda to his kind, because Baby Yoda is force sensitive, and Elsbeth offered him a spear made of pure Beskar, which is a metal of almost religious importance to Mandalorians that the Empire also stole, to him if he killed Ahsoka Tano, who was a former Jedi, who was on the planet looking for more information about Thrawn. But Ahsoka, in her first live-action debut, that was a very big one, made a lot of waves on the internet, offers to join forces with him, and together they defeat Elsbeth and her forces, and Din gets the spear. Ahsoka pushed Elsbeth to reveal Thrawn's location, but Elsbeth refused and was arrested for her Imperial sympathies. Much later, Ahsoka was able to get Elsbeth to divulge Thrawn's location on a star map. With Elsbeth's resources, a ring capable of multi-galaxy travel had been constructed, which, by the way, was a big... There wasn't supposed to be another galaxy. That was one of George Lucas's rules, but they broke it here. However, Elsbeth was freed a little later and resumed her quest to rejoin Thrawn. She even was able to make the journey to the far galaxy where Thrawn was. He had been kind of banished there. She reunited with Thrawn and put together a plan to kill the Jedi Ezra Bridger, who was also stuck in this far galaxy. And in this whole thing, she was granted some powers and a pretty fancy weapon. In order to help Thrawn escape, she engaged with Ahsoka, destroying one of Ahsoka's lightsabers, because Ahsoka famously has 2 lightsabers, but Ahsoka defeated and killed her. But her stalling, Elsbeth's stalling, allowed Thrawn to escape, which was what, I mean, she didn't mean to die, but that was what she was trying to do, was give him time to escape. Thrawn told the Great Mothers who escaped with him, Elsbeth, quote, has done what was required. And so that's where her story is right now. But you never know in the Star Wars universe. But that brings us to the actress who plays this character in live action, Diana Lee Inosanto, whose father was a martial artist. And Bruce Lee was her godfather. So she grew up surrounded by and learning martial arts. She's been involved in all kinds of projects, and she's been very open about her experience of being mixed race and not white enough, or not Asian enough, or not Spanish enough, all of that stuff. And she's also been open about ageism in Hollywood, because when she got cast in The Mandalorian, she essentially thought she was being pranked because her time was up. Apparently, about half the stunt team had trained underneath her father, and the creators of The Mandalorian really wanted her specifically, like they had her in mind. She does have a really fun story about seeing A New Hope in theaters with her father, and him being so into the lightsaber fight that he purchased those plastic extendable lightsabers for them to practice with. And she ultimately did get to have one in a live action Star Wars show. She has a kind of a lightsaber fight with Ahsoka. That's so cool. I love that so much. I think I read somewhere that the name is based on Merlin, a character from Merlin, but I wasn't able to verify. But let me know, listeners, and let me know if you have any thoughts about this character or any suggestions for future episodes. You can email us at hello@stuffmomnevertoldyou.com. You can find us on Blue Sky at Mom Stuff Podcast, or on TikTok and Instagram at Stuff I Never Told You. We're also on YouTube. We have a TeePublic store, and we have a book you can get wherever you get your books. Thanks as always to our super producer Christina, our executive producer Maya, and our contributor Joey. And thanks to you for listening. Stuff I Never Told You is a production of iHeartRadio. For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, you can check out the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcast, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.